Why I regret moving into a nursing home. It wasn't the peaceful retreat I was promised. Why I regret moving into a nursing home. No one warned me about the loneliness. Why I regret moving into a nursing home, and what I wish I had done differently. When I first decided to leave my home and move into a nursing facility, I truly believed I was choosing comfort, care, and safety. Like many people my age, I was told it would be the best option, a place where I could rest, socialize, and be looked after. But reality taught me something else. What I didn't expect was the loss of freedom, the silence in the halls, the way time slows down when you're surrounded by people yet still feel alone. This is not a complaint, it's a reflection. A truth I wish someone had told me before I made that choice. In this video, I want to open up, not to scare, but to share. If you or your loved one is thinking about this decision, stay with me. You deserve to hear what it's really like, from someone who's lived it. Regret 1. Losing my freedom, and slowly losing myself. Freedom. It sounds like such a simple thing, doesn't it? When I lived at home, freedom wasn't something I thought about. It was like the air I breathed. Invisible, but essential. I decided when to get up in the morning. I decided if I wanted cereal or bacon and eggs for breakfast. I chose whether to walk around my garden, read a book, or simply sit by the window and watch the world go by. Freedom was the thread woven through every hour of my day. But the moment I moved into the nursing home, that invisible thread snapped. And the worst part? It didn't snap all at once. It frayed slowly, almost gently, until I hardly noticed it was gone. At first, it was small things. Breakfast is served at 7:30 a.m. Don't be late. Lights out by 9 p.m. That's the rule. You need to sign up in advance if you want to go outside for a walk. I remember one morning, I woke up late, maybe 8 o'clock a.m. Back home, I would have simply made myself a cup of coffee, maybe had a leisurely morning. Here, I had missed breakfast. No hot coffee waiting, no food until lunch. The kitchen was locked down. I sat alone in my room, stomach growling, feeling like a prisoner of my own life. Then came the activity schedules. Every moment of every day was mapped out for us. Arts and crafts at 10. Bingo at 2. A music appreciation hour at 4, whether you wanted to appreciate it or not. If you wanted to do something different, maybe just sit outside under the trees or take a walk alone, you needed permission. Sometimes there weren't enough staff to supervise. Sometimes you had to wait hours. Sometimes you were simply told, "Not today." I never realized how sacred it was to simply choose how to spend your time until that choice was gone. Even the little things, like picking out my clothes, became an ordeal. Staff would lay out an outfit the night before. If I wanted something different, it became a whole negotiation. That outfit isn't appropriate. It's easier for us if you wear this. Maybe next time. It was faster for them if I went along quietly. And eventually, I did. But every time I said yes when I wanted to say no, every time I stayed silent when I wanted to speak up, a little piece of me disappeared. I remember one afternoon, standing in front of the mirror, dressed in clothes I didn't choose, scheduled for an event I didn't want to attend. I looked into my own eyes and didn't recognize the person staring back at me. Where had I gone? When you lose your freedom, you don't lose it with a bang. You lose it with 1,000 tiny surrenders you barely notice. until you wake up one day and realize you're a stranger to yourself. I wish someone had told me, freedom isn't a luxury. It's the oxygen of the soul. Without it, even a golden cage is still a prison. Regret 2. Feeling forgotten. Out of sight, out of mind. In the beginning, they came. Every Sunday afternoon, my daughter would walk in with her arms full of flowers and homemade cookies. My grandchildren would race down the hallways, giggling and shouting, their laughter filling every corner of my small room. For a little while, it felt almost normal. I told myself, this isn't so bad. I'm still connected. I'm still part of their lives. But life has a way of moving on and leaving you behind. At first, the visits shifted. Instead of every week, it was every 2 weeks, then once a month, then maybe a phone call if they remembered. And when they did come, they were distracted, checking their phones during conversations, cutting visits short because of errands or work deadlines, smiling apologetically. We'll stay longer next time, promise. But next time kept shrinking, until next time barely came at all. I remember one Thanksgiving vividly. I sat in the common room with a few other residents, watching the clock tick slowly toward noon. The staff had decorated the room with paper turkeys and colored leaves taped to the windows. Someone put on festive music that felt more depressing than cheerful. We all sat there, waiting. Some stared at the door, some stared at the floor, some, like me, stared at their phones, hoping for a text, a call, a sign that we hadn't been forgotten. My family had promised they would come. No matter what, we'll be there, my daughter said. But noon came, then 1 o'clock, then 2, and they never arrived. That night, I ate my turkey and mashed potatoes alone in my room, tears mixing silently with the gravy. It's not that they stopped loving me. I know they didn't. But out of sight really does become out of mind. Their lives grew fuller, careers, school events, vacations, social commitments, while mine shrank smaller, 4 walls, a window, and a quiet phone. You don't stop needing family just because you age. In fact, you need them more than ever, to feel seen, to feel loved, to feel remembered. But when you're tucked away in a facility, it's easy for the world to forget you exist. And you start forgetting too. You forget what it feels like to laugh freely, to be hugged without careful coordination, to be part of the living, breathing, messy, beautiful chaos of real family life. I wish someone had told me, loneliness doesn't always come from being alone. Sometimes it comes from being invisible to the people who once loved you most. Regret 3. Losing my sense of purpose. The slow fade to emptiness. Before I moved into the nursing home, my life, though simple, was full. I had my routines. Watering my little garden every morning, checking the tomato plants like they were old friends. Baking fresh bread on Sundays, filling the house with the warm, yeasty smell of home. Calling my sister every Wednesday evening, laughing about nothing and everything. Tidying the house, folding the laundry just so, setting the table for one but pretending it was for a banquet. None of it seemed extraordinary. None of it would make the evening news. But it mattered. It gave shape to my days. It made getting out of bed feel meaningful. It made me feel like I still had a role to play in my own story. When I moved into the nursing home, all of that disappeared overnight. Meals were served on a strict schedule. No cooking, no choosing what to make, no tinkering around in the kitchen, because you felt like making chocolate chip cookies at 9 p.m. There were no plants to water, no pets to feed, no cluttered closets to organize. Even the small irritations, spilled milk, burned toast, the creaky back door, were gone. And with them went the quiet, invisible purpose they brought to my life. I tried to adapt at first. I joined the craft classes. I signed up for the book club. I even volunteered to help organize movie nights for the other residents. But it wasn't the same. It felt like playing at being busy, not living with purpose. There were no real consequences if I skipped a meeting. No true ownership over the projects. No deeper meaning behind the activities. It was killing time, not living time. I watched it happen to the others too. There was George, who had spent his life building furniture, beautiful, sturdy pieces that would last for generations. Now he spent most days staring out the window, his calloused hands lying idle in his lap. There was Mrs. Simmons, who used to volunteer at the library for 25 years. Now she rarely spoke, lost in a fog of daytime TV and pills. People who had once been vibrant, full of stories, skills, humor, became shadows. When you no longer have something meaningful to work toward, the mind slows, the body weakens, the heart, oh, the heart, begins to wither. I wish someone had told me, purpose isn't something you stumble into. It's something you have to fiercely protect. Because once you lose it, getting it back is one of the hardest battles you'll ever fight. Regret 4. Declining health faster than expected. How comfort slowly kills strength. Before I moved into the nursing home, I was doing pretty well for an old lady. Sure, I had a few aches and pains. My knees complained on rainy days, and sometimes it took me a little longer to get up from my favorite chair. But I could still go grocery shopping, stretch every morning on the front porch, cook dinner from scratch, water my garden and pull a few stubborn weeds. I wasn't running marathons, but I was moving, thinking, doing. And I believed, like many people do, that being taken care of would help me stay healthier longer. I was wrong. When I arrived at the nursing home, everything became easier. Too easy. Meals brought to your table, no need to cook or clean. Showers with assistance, so you didn't have to bend or strain. Wheelchairs and walkers readily available, just in case. A call button on your wrist, no need to struggle, just push for help. Sounds wonderful, right? But there's a dark side to convenience that no one talks about. The less you move, the less you use your muscles, the less you challenge your body, the faster it forgets how to be strong. Within the first month, I noticed my legs were stiffer. Standing up from a chair took a little extra effort. I brushed it off. Just a bad day, I thought. But the bad days piled up. I started avoiding walks because they tired me out. I skipped stretching because, well, what was the point? I accepted rides in a wheelchair just to be faster, even though I could still walk. And slowly, almost without realizing it, my body betrayed me. I wasn't the only one. There was Alice, a spirited 81-year-old who insisted when she moved in, "I'm not going to let this place slow me down." She walked laps around the courtyard every morning. At first, but then she skipped a day. It was raining. Then she skipped another. She had a little cold. Then it became easier to sit and chat inside rather than venture outdoors. By the 3rd month, Alice needed a walker. By the 6th, she was in a wheelchair. I remember her saying one day, almost in disbelief, "I feel like I aged 10 years in 6 months." And she wasn't wrong. Movement isn't just about staying fit, it's about survival. It keeps your joints supple, your heart pumping, your lungs expanding. It keeps your mind sharp, your spirit resilient. When you stop moving, even for good reasons like rest and safety, your body starts shutting down long before it has to. No one explained that to me. No one warned me that a soft bed, a comfortable chair, a hot meal delivered to my lap could, little by little, take away my ability to stand, to walk, to live independently. I wish someone had told me, strength isn't something you can store away for later. If you don't use it, you lose it. And once it's gone, getting it back can feel like climbing a mountain with broken legs. Regret 5. Losing privacy and dignity, becoming just another name on the list. At home, privacy was something I didn't have to think about. It was woven into every corner of my life. I could close my bedroom door whenever I needed solitude. I could soak in a hot bath for an hour without explaining to anyone. I could sit at my kitchen table in my pajamas at noon, reading the paper, sipping coffee without judgment. Privacy wasn't a privilege, it was just life. But in the nursing home, privacy became a luxury, one that slowly eroded day by day. It started small. A nurse would knock on the door but open it before I could answer. A caregiver would adjust my blanket without asking if I needed help. Someone would walk into the room to deliver medication while I was still changing clothes. At first, I felt embarrassed. Then I felt angry. And eventually, I just felt resigned. Because complaining didn't change anything. The staff wasn't trying to be rude. They were just busy, overworked, following the routine. And in the system of efficiency, individuality got steamrolled. The biggest blow came when I needed assistance for the most private tasks. Bathing, dressing, using the toilet. Things I had done for myself with dignity for 80 years, now suddenly required someone else's help. I'll never forget the first time a young nurse, maybe 25 years old, helped me into the shower. She was professional, kind, but no matter how gentle she tried to be, the humiliation burned through my skin. I wanted to disappear. I wanted to scream, "This isn't who I am!" But all I could do was stand there, naked, shivering under the spray of warm water, feeling like my dignity was circling the drain. And then there were the roommates. You don't always get to choose who you share a room with. Sometimes you're lucky. A kind, quiet soul who becomes a friend. Sometimes you're not. I had a roommate once who shouted in her sleep. Another who left dirty laundry everywhere. Another who cried uncontrollably for hours and refused any comfort. There were nights I lay awake, exhausted, feeling trapped in a stranger's chaos, without any escape. Imagine being 82 years old, having lived your whole life as an independent, self-sufficient adult, and suddenly having no say over who sleeps 6 feet away from you, night after night. No matter how hard I tried to personalize my half of the room, family photos, favorite blankets, a little vase of flowers, it never truly felt like mine, because it wasn't. Because it belonged to the institution. Because I belonged to the institution. And the worst part? After a while, you stop noticing. You stop fighting. You just adapt. You become just another name on the clipboard, another body to be managed, another file to be updated. Not a whole human being with dreams, desires, history, humor. Just a patient. I wish someone had told me, privacy isn't about selfishness, it's about dignity. When you lose your right to be unseen, unheard, unjudged, You start losing the parts of yourself that no one else can ever give back. Regret 6. It's harder to leave than you think. The cage you never saw closing. When I first moved into the nursing home, I promised myself it was temporary. If I don't like it, I thought, I'll just leave. I'll go back home. No big deal. That belief, that I had an escape hatch, made the decision feel safer, easier. But what I didn't realize was that leaving isn't just about walking out the front door. It's about what happens to your mind, your body, your life, piece by piece, while you're inside. At first, I thought I was keeping my old life waiting for me, like a car idling outside the curb. But time doesn't wait. Houses don't maintain themselves. Neighborhoods change. Friends move away. Life marches on without you. My little house, the one I thought I could return to any time, sat empty. Dust gathered. Pipes leaked. The garden withered. Repairs piled up until it no longer felt like home. It felt like a stranger's abandoned house. Meanwhile, my own abilities declined faster than I ever imagined. I wasn't cooking meals every day, lifting groceries, raking leaves. I wasn't managing bills, maintaining a household, driving across town. I was being taken care of, and it made me weaker in ways I couldn't see until it was too late. The first time I tried to visit my house again, 6 months after moving into the nursing home, I cried. The front steps looked steeper. The doorknob felt heavier. The silence inside felt so enormous it nearly swallowed me. I realized, standing there clutching my walker, that I couldn't live there alone anymore, not safely. And worse yet, my family no longer believed I could either. It's too risky, Mom. You're safer where you are. We can't be there 24/7 if something happens. And deep down, heartbreakingly, I knew they were right. Not because I was incapable the day I moved into the nursing home, but because living there had made me incapable. Some residents never even got the chance to reconsider. Their homes were sold to pay for long-term care. Their savings drained away by monthly fees. Their choices narrowed down to what was left after everyone else had made decisions for them. And by the time they thought about leaving, there was nowhere left to go. The world outside became smaller, and the nursing home, the place they once saw as a temporary stop, became their forever. I often wonder if I had fought harder in those early days, if I had insisted on staying home longer, if I had asked for more in-home help instead of rushing into the safe choice, how different my life might have been. I can't change it now, but maybe by telling you, I can change yours. I wish someone had told me, moving into a nursing home isn't like checking into a hotel. It's more like closing a door behind you and discovering it locks from the outside. Final thoughts. If you're still watching, thank you. Truly. Sharing this wasn't easy, but I did it for you, and for anyone out there who's standing at the same crossroads I once did. We all want dignity, connection, and meaning, especially in our later years. And the truth is, there are other paths that may keep you closer to family, to your memories, to your freedom. So before you choose, pause, ask the deeper questions, and listen to stories like mine, because regret is heavy, but wisdom, when shared, becomes a gift. Please, leave a comment if this touched you. Like the video if you found it meaningful. Subscribe to Elders Living Better for more honest voices and real-life lessons. And don't forget to share this. Someone you love may need to hear it today. Until next time, take care of your heart and your choices.